When discussing his new film, The Innocents, Norwegian screenwriter and filmmaker Eskil Vogt said, "We still like to think that kids are pure angels. I think we need to face that the opposite is true." Those are some very powerful words, and they describe his film perfectly. So here's my review of that film, The Innocents. Let's go. So The Innocents is a supernatural thriller that will debut soon on the Shudder streaming service, October 18th to be exact. I was fortunate enough to once again view an early screener of the film, and I wanted to provide my thoughts in advance of that premiere on August 18th. I'm sure most of you are like me. Up until now, you probably had never even heard of the film, so I'm going to give you a brief synopsis. During the bright Nordic summer, a group of children reveal their dark and mysterious powers when the adults aren't looking. In this original and gripping supernatural thriller, playtime takes a dangerous turn. As I stated in the intro, this very original and unsettling film was written and directed by Norwegian screenwriter and filmmaker Eskil Vogt. The main cast is mainly made up of very young children, between, I would say, maybe the ages of 9 and 11. There are very few adults even in the cast. The actors that do play the adults, they're mainly the parents of the children, and they serve just in supporting roles. I must say that these young stars do an amazing job of carrying the film. It gives it a very realistic and natural feel, and they have great performances all the way through. The story centers around 4 children that we meet in the apartment complex as they begin to quote-unquote innocently play together. The main characters are Ida, who has an autistic sister named Anna. Then there's another girl named Aisha, who has a very strong connection to Anna, maybe almost psychic-like. And then finally we have Ben, who seems to be the loner up at this point. As this group of children begin to interact and play with each other every day, their innocent playtime takes a sinister turn as they discover dark powers that each of them may possess. The film does start as a really slow burn as each child's characters develop and we learn more about their personalities and those abilities I mentioned. We learn that Ida's having trouble coping with all of the attention that her parents have to give her sister Anna because Anna has special needs. Now, Aisha's a very sweet and loving girl. She loves her mother, and she's just looking for a new friend. Now, Ben, he's the first to discover his powers, and it seems like he's starving for attention, so much that he can't help but share his abilities with Ida the first time they meet. But when Ben realizes that he has these abilities, he immediately wants to ramp them up and test them on bigger things. Aisha discovers that she shares that special connection, like I said, with Anna, and Anna becomes very calm and attentive when they're together. Anna also is able to communicate in a minimal way when they're around each other, which is something, according to her parents, she hadn't been able to do for years. So Ida doesn't seem to have any special abilities at the beginning, and it does bother her because she isn't able to connect and bond with the other one at the beginning. Now, at this point in the story, the main characters begin to take very different approaches to how they use their newly discovered powers. Even though they're supposed to be innocent children, we see that the inherent nature of humans really does exist early on in life. The story quickly boils down to very simple terms: good versus evil, and the corruption of innocent souls when presented with unprecedented power. How does a normal human react when given special abilities? We see this manifest itself in total opposite ways when comparing Aisha with Ben. I will say that the film presents some very disturbing themes and scenarios, especially as related to Ben. This is a non-spoiler review, but I do want to put some warnings out there. This film has scenes that portray animal cruelty and a lot of violence of children against each other. It could be considered dark and disturbing for very sensitive viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. The themes of this film remind me of the core concepts presented in a bigger budgeted film like Unbreakable. Now hear me out. We see 2 men in that film who have special abilities, and they handle them in a totally different way because of the influences in the world around them. The young characters in The Innocents travel down very similar paths and have to ultimately make very similar decisions about how they want to be remembered for their abilities and these powers. One of the most scary aspects of this story is that much of it unfolds when these children are away from their parents. The parents are most of the time totally unaware of what's going on around them and the sinister things that are happening each time these innocents play with each other. I think this is what makes the film work. I recently watched the movie Orphan as I gear up for that prequel to arrive soon, and that film contains a scene that I want to talk to you about. A parent in that is concerned because Esther, which is the child, nonchalantly says the word fuck directly to her in a casual conversation. The mother comments to the father that if she's willing to do that to my face, what is she saying or doing to the other children around us when we're not there? This film takes that concept to a whole new level. This is why I give The Innocents 2 thumbs up. It isn't on fire, but it is very good. I think it deserves at least 1 viewing by everybody out there. If you like psychological horror films or psychological thrillers, so check it out on Shudder on August 18th. And before you do that, check out everything else on my channel. I got a lot of Halloween reviews. I got some other Shudder reviews. I got a lot of other things on the channel. Please support me any way you can. After you watch this review, head over and check out some of my other content. So when you do that, like, comment, subscribe, share. Do that with every video you watch. Get it out there so we can grow this channel together. That's what we want to do. So I really appreciate the support, and I hope you like this review, and I hope you do enjoy The Innocents when you watch it on Shudder. So until next time, boys and girls, this is JeffMan316, your pop culture reporter, signing out saying, you guys be safe out there.